Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. My name is Sarah Whitty. I serve on the Worship Council and on the board, and I'm so glad to be greeting you this morning. Is this a little loud? A warm welcome to all of you gathered here in our sanctuary, as well as to our friends gathering virtually on Zoom. Good morning. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take these words to heart. If this is your first time to our congregation, welcome. We invite you to fill out a connection card, which is located in the pew rack in front of you, so that we can connect you with programs and things going on here that might interest you. You can drop this in the offering plate when it comes around later in the service. For anyone joining us with young children, you'll find nursery care at the end of this hall for babies and toddlers or anybody who needs to wiggle, and it's staffed by teenagers. Following our service, all are invited to join us downstairs for coffee hour, our time of fellowship and friendship. Before we begin our service, I have a few announcements. Take a breath. First, this Wednesday at 6:30 in our sanctuary, we are honored to host Sherry Mitchell for an evening talk and discussion on the teachings in her book, Sacred Instructions. If you would like to come, please RSVP to Marge, so we have seats for everyone. Second, there are still a few shifts open for our week of volunteering at the shelter at the State Street Church in Portland. If you're able to cover an evening or an overnight shift and help provide a warm, safe place for unhoused new Mainer families to sleep, please let Reverend Hillary know or sign up through the link in channels this week. Next, the Worship Council invites everyone to submit a piece of writing or art to a zine we are compiling called Our Joys and Sorrows, the Complexities of Parent-Child Relationships. We invite you to share your voice about the heartaches, the joys, and the struggles. What has stayed with you? What have you learned? How have you healed or grown? We will compile all the pieces we receive into a zine that will be available online and in print in the fall. So we're extending the deadline. Email your submissions to Gwen or drop them in her mailbox in the office. And lastly, next Sunday, right after church, right downstairs, there'll be an all-church info and pizza party, and it's hosted by Stewardship, Building and Grounds, and the board. Did our annual campaign Generosity get us a budget that fully funds our programs and our people? Does our strategic plan, AKA Nourish and Flourish, have some great big ideas for the next 5 years? Do we know what we want to do with what used to be called the Parsonage, now called 95 Main Street? What does it need? Come have a slice of pizza and get the latest news. The more you know, the stronger and healthier our ecosystem will be. And bonus, you'll be all ready for the annual meeting on June 9th. Okay, there's a lot going on in the spring. You can catch all of this in your Sunday morning news. Let's take a deep breath. Center ourselves, breathe, as we settle into this sacred time and space that we create on Sunday mornings. Our music director, Sam Chandler, and our choir will lead us into worship.
Thank you, choir. Thank you, Sam. Whoa. Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you? Good, a little stunned? Yeah, good. It's good to see you. Happy Mother's Day to those who are celebrating, and happy day of honoring all the beings who nurture us in the many stages of our lives. I'm Reverend Hillary. I serve as the minister here in our church that rests upon Wabanaki land on the banks of the sacred river once known as the West Custago, and it is with peace and friendship that I say, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, whatever it is you have done or really need to get around to doing, you are welcome here. And we're so glad that you too are here in peace and friendship with us this morning. Friends, today on this Mother's Day, we'll look up and around, we'll open our ears and our minds, we'll lift our voices and our hearts to the universe, directing our attention to the creative energies swirling round that nurture us, balance us, and compel us to grow and seek out the goodness ever present each day of our lives. Our call to worship this morning is by a poet whose poetry always makes me think of spring. This morning, I share the poem, "Love is a Place" by E.E. Cummings. Love is a place, and through this place of love move with brightness of peace all places. Yes is a world, and in this world of yes live skillfully curled all worlds. I'm going to read it again. Love is a place, and through this place of love move with brightness and peace all places. Yes is a world, and in this world of yes live skillfully curled all worlds. Good morning, my friends. Yes. With brightness of peace now, let's turn to our neighbors, ask them how they are, and wish them a good spring morning. And will you rise in body and spirit with me now and join in singing our opening hymn, one of my all-time favorites, number 357, Bright Morning Stars. You'll find it in your hardcover gray hymnal.
And we're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 3. Bright morning stars are rising, bright
Beautiful. And will you remain risen and join in our words of unison affirmation? They're written in your order of service. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open to all people, mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge. We respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. You may be seated, and our friend Sarah will light our chalice this morning. Thanks, Sarah.
Good morning. Would any children who would like to help me light the candle come on down? Coming out of the woodwork. Okay. We light our chalice because it's a symbol of Unitarian Universalist faith and friendship around the world, right? Right. So I'm going to light the candle. We're going to say our words together, and then I'm going to hold it out here while you make a wish and blow on the, don't blow at this part. Yep. Okay, hold on. Ready to say the words? We light our chalice in peace and friendship. Okay, everybody. Thank you. You can go sit with your parents. Thanks.
Good morning, Mac.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Better now that I have my trusty banjo-lele.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to help me sing a song for the Divine Mother of the Universe?
I would love to help you sing a song.
Would you all like to help us sing a song for the Divine Mother of the Universe? Perfect. So this is a song called Song for the Divine Mother of the Universe.
Fitting.
It's very fitting. We keep it simple here. And it's a responsive song. So we'll sing a verse, and then you sing the same verse after we sing it. You'll catch on quick. And as I preface all the songs I sing, I'm not a perfect singer, so those of you who don't think that you are perfect singers should sing extra loud. Every voice is needed in singing to the Divine Mother of the
Yes, please.
universe. So I'm going to sing a verse. You just sing that verse right after me. Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Now I know I'm not alone.
Now I know I'm not alone.
'Cause I've been far.
'Cause I've been far.
Now I'm close.
Now I'm close.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing?
Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing?
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Heart and soul,
Heart and soul,
breath and skin.
breath and skin.
Your love is everything.
Your love is
Beautiful.
everything. Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
'Cause mother, I need some help tonight.
Mother, I need some help tonight.
What went wrong?
What went wrong
Will soon be right.
will soon be right.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing?
Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing?
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Heart and soul,
Heart
breath and skin.
breath and skin.
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything. Oh, Mother, this world is strange.
Oh, Mother, this world is strange.
Love me, Mother, and make me brave.
Love me, Mother, and make me brave.
In my dreams,
In my dreams,
as I change.
as I change.
Oh, Mother, this world is strange.
Oh, Mother, this world is strange. Tell me, Mother, can you hear me sing?
Tell me, Mother, can you hear me sing?
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Heart and soul,
Heart and soul,
breath and skin.
breath and skin.
Your love is everything.
One more time with the chorus, loud and proud, so the Divine Mother of the universe can like really hear it. She's way up there. You gotta reach her, okay? Okay. Okay. Tell me, Mother, can you hear me sing?
Your love is everything. Heart and soul, breath and skin. Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything. Beautiful. I think she heard it. So we're going to say our children's blessing, but the kids are going to stay for candles today and then be sung to Children's Chapel afterwards. Will you lead us in the blessing, Max?
Sounds good. All right. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
And we now come to the time that we set aside each week for quiet prayer and meditation. This is a time to reflect on the events of the past week, look forward to what might come in the days ahead, offer some loving kindness to someone who could really use some loving kindness, give thanks for the mothers and the nurturers in your life, or just be here now in the fullness of this moment. Following our quiet, we'll have a time to light candles, but first, friends, will you join me in taking a deep, refreshing breath in, a calming breath out, and relax into a sacred time of silence. At this time, all are invited to come forward and light a silent candle for the prayers and meditations you keep today. Though we'll not be sharing our feelings out loud this morning, our gathered community and I hold your joys and sorrows with you this morning and always. If you'd like to light a candle, just come forward, take a candle from the basket, light from our chalice, and place it in our box, our pot of collective sand. We ask that as you place candles, you begin at the far end of the pot and gradually move towards the pulpit, never reaching over a flame. And if there's a child with you this morning who'd like to light a candle, please accompany them as they do. Friends, virtually, you can write in the chat if you'd like to have a candle lit for you in the sanctuary this morning. I also invite you to light candles at home at this time. Does anyone wish to light a candle this morning?
a fitting day for the most number of candles I've seen.
Will you join me in a time of prayer? Letting beings far away in need of prayer come to your mind. Letting beings nearby in need of prayer come to your mind. Letting the beings right next to you be with you. Holding all this life in your heart. Offer these beings a quiet prayer. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you know peace. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you know peace. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you know peace. Let it be so. Amen. Celebrating the youthful life in this room, we'll now sing our children off to Children's Chapel downstairs for some creative time together.
Our offering today, it will be shared with the Land Peace Foundation. The Land Peace Foundation, of which Sherry Mitchell is the founding director, is dedicated to the preservation of Indigenous rights and the protection of the Indigenous way of life. Sorry. Croaky. The Land Peace Foundation provides consultation and educational programs focused on creating more resiliency for Indigenous people through deeper connection to ceremony and traditional ways of knowing and being. Also, Land Peace Foundation facilitates gatherings to create greater cooperation and collaboration between Indigenous people and their non-Indigenous neighbors and allies. For those in the sanctuary this morning, we'll be passing the plate to one another. And for those gathered with us online, you are invited to make your offering using the donate button in the order of worship or by dropping a check in the mail. Thank you so much for your generosity.
She wears flowers around her neck. She cooks that egg so perfect. To eat it warm, to eat it warm. And you sleep under her arm where the spells fly to the high white noise, to the highway dime. She looks that bird in the eye, cuts his throat and bleeds him dry. To eat him warm, to eat him warm. And you sleep under her arm where the spells fly to the high white noise, to the highway dime. She makes milk inside her breast. You dove down to find what's left and eat it warm, and eat it warm. And you sleep under her arm where the spells fly to the high white noise, to the highway dime.
Thanks, Sam. Will you rise in body and spirit again, friends, and join in singing our song of thanksgiving? The short verses are in your order of service. You may be seated. In 1984, a relatively unknown folk musician living deep in the snowy woods of northern Ontario bought an Atari 8-bit computer and a synthesizer. Plugging them in, Beverly Glenn-Copeland was thrilled and proceeded to spend his days doing three things: shoveling, eating sardines and peanut butter, and making music. After 2 years of playing chords and pushing buttons that made the machine go beep and bop and boop, an album emerged that he called Keyboard Fantasies. He pressed 500 cassettes of it, sold a handful of them, and rested, having seen the project through. Creating music is a drive, he's explained, not a desire for a career. It's a way for me to explore things. So of course, I'm gonna go exploring. Beverly Glenn-Copeland is a special person. Not so much a ray, but a force of light. He was one of the first Black students to attend McGill University in the 1960s and the only one to enroll in the classical music program there. Raised in Philadelphia to Quaker parents who were also classically trained musicians, music and spirit, without doubt, are core components of his being. Despite mastering the rigid structures of his classical training, the spirit moved within him in boundary-breaking ways. At McGill, Copeland, who now identifies as a transgender man, wore his hair in an afro and started publicly dating women, essentially living as an out lesbian in a time where such behavior was seen socially as a disease and legally as illegal. His parents, frantic to protect their Black gay child, attempted to commit him to a psychiatric unit for electroconvulsive treatments to zap the gay out of his head and heart. When they dropped him off at the hospital, though, he was the one to shock everybody because he got up and split, sprinting out the door and down the road, outpacing everyone behind him. From there, he set out on his own, dropping out of McGill and taking shelter in the world of folk musicians. He got a job writing for a Canadian children's show hosted by the understudy of Mr. Rogers, and from there, with a steady paycheck, Copeland took off to the Ontario woods and wrote music, he said, that would allow listeners to feel safe, loved, seen, and supported in exploring their imagination. From this mindset, Keyboard Fantasies was born. Copeland says the album was the result of an internal transmission from the Universal Broadcast System. He received the dispatch by paying attention to silence and the music within silence. I read an article this week that said the average attention span of an American adult is currently 17 seconds long. This is actually the high range of the average. For many, the maximum time we're able to keep a single pointed focus on something is 8 seconds. This news, of course, gave me pause about these 18-minute-long homilies I deliver to you most Sundays. I wonder what of these universalist transmissions is getting through to any of us, myself included. Anxious ponderings aside, though, learning how fickle our attention span is in these content-frenzied times, I have to ask, friends, what are you, what am I, what are we paying attention to in our waking hours? Despite the increasing lack of it, the power of attention is well known. Sayings like, what you pay attention to grows, and Simone Weil's attention is the rarest, purest form of generosity are well known and thrown around by many all the time. So, what are we growing? What are we nurturing with our attention? Towards what? Towards who? Are we being generous? Is our attention primarily drawn to good stuff? To the positive? To silence and the music within that silence? I really believe we are constantly affecting everything around us, Beverly Glenn-Copeland says, and it responds to us. So if we can hold, or primarily hold, a positive feeling about the world and about ourselves, we can probably change things. We all have a purpose, he continues. We're all part of a universal design. I think I'm here to encourage people to experience the positive. In 2015, Copeland was living a relatively unknown, creative, and liberated life with his wife in northern Canada. One day, he received an email from a record store owner in Japan who had randomly come across a cassette of Keyboard Fantasies, and he loved it. He asked if Copeland, who now mostly goes by Glenn, had any more copies he could send him. Glenn dug out the old crate of tapes and shipped it off to Japan, and a week later, the record store owner wrote asking for more. They had sold out within days. Keyboard Fantasies is a beautiful album. I hope you'll pay some attention to it today. Put it on with your mom or your kids, or do as I do and listen to it with the Divine Mother of the Universe on headphones while sitting on the porch or staring out the window at the world. Copeland's music has been described as a salve, a cynicism cleanse, joyously soulful odes to survival, a feeling of the universe radiating around you and within you, and music perfect for vibin'. His resonant, at once jazzy and operatic voice, writes one critic, compels an indescribable feeling of every possible emotion bursting forth at the same time. Given the album's renaissance, the first song on Keyboard Fantasies is fittingly titled Ever New. Throughout the 7-minute piece, he repeatedly sings one verse in such a way that you can feel the smile on his lips and see his arms outstretched in invitation. Let's listen to it for a second.
Welcome to spring, the summer rain, softly turn to sing again. Welcome the bud, the summer blooming flower. Welcome the child whose hand I hold. Welcome to you, both young and old. We are ever new. We are ever new.
It's nice, right? That was really so many of you just. That song is like eight something minutes long. You just sink right into it, just sink right in. Welcome the spring, the summer rain, he croons, softly turn to sing again. Welcome the bud, the summer blooming flower. Welcome the child whose hand I hold. Welcome to you, both young and old. We are ever new. We are ever new. Within a year of sending nearly every copy of Keyboard Fantasies to Japan, Copeland was inundated with messages from record stores and labels, musicians and fans. The album was an underground hit. It had taken 30 years for Keyboard Fantasies to grab the attention of listeners. Glenn Copeland was now 74 years old. Inspired by this reception, he recorded a new album and received a sizable advance of money to go on tour. He and his wife, Elizabeth, sold their house and with the advance closed on a new home that better fit their sudden lifestyle change. The tour was set to begin in spring 2020. And it, like everything that spring, was canceled. Glenn and Elizabeth lost the advance. couldn't afford the new house, and had sold their own old house, and suddenly, in their mid-70s, were homeless in a pandemic. A fan learned of this disastrous situation and started a GoFundMe for them. Not only did it raise over $100,000, the news reached the couple whose second home in New Brunswick was uninhabited. They gave it to Glenn and Elizabeth, and Glenn and Elizabeth still live there today. When asked in an interview recently if he felt any resistance to receiving these gifts, Copeland, a true spitfire of a human being whose zest for life is visceral upon just looking at a photograph of the guy, exclaimed this response: "Resistance? What? No. If you can't accept a gift when a gift is being given by the universe, then you got a problem, man. I mean, hello." Of course, as the GoFundMe campaign gained steam and everyone was holed up in their homes trying to make sense of things and pay attention to something else, more and more ears tuned in to Copeland's music. And the vast majority of these ears belong to younger generations, millennials, Gen Z. Copeland began receiving messages from youth and young adults celebrating the balm of his music, his wisdom, and his needed presence in the world as a Black, queer, trans elder, of which there are very few. Recently, at the age of 78, Glenn finally completed that tour, bringing along a pair of crutches in case his knees acted up, and a backup band of musicians, all in their 20s. "They are my teachers," he says of them. "I see a step in human growth in them. They are at ease in a way of being that took me 50 years to come to terms with." Through this period of Renaissance, Copeland believes he's achieved his life's purpose: to encourage youth, which I understand to mean both encouraging young people to be at ease with themselves and encouraging all of us to be youthful. "I want everyone to know that your life is bigger than any pain you are possibly feeling," he says. "It is infinitely huge. Your life is one with the universe itself and nothing else but that." He continues, "So find people who will tell you how precious you are and hang out with them. Find practices that will tell you how precious you are and practice them. It's not easy, but it's possible." I speak of the life, the music, the ministry of Beverly Glenn-Copeland today, this Mother's Day Sunday, because in this bodhisattva of a creative being, I see and sense a maternal energy, a form of mothering that defies body and sex and identity and, strictly speaking, physical motherhood. Glenn doesn't have kids, doesn't identify as a woman. But if we're considering the archetype of the mother, the energy of birth, of creativity, of fiercely compassionate attention, then Copeland is aglow with this gentle and tough energy, encouraging us, nurturing us to live freely and enjoy our lives. Friends, mothering is not relegated to only some. It, like the youthful energy of a child's mind, is a capacity all of us have embedded in our universal design. Later in his life, after not speaking for a long time, Copeland's phone rang one day, and it was his mother on the other end of the line. "Oh, my darling, please forgive me," she said as he answered, "Oh, my darling, please forgive me." They ended up living together for the last 5 years of her life and loved each other very much. She died cradled in his arms one night as he sang African American spirituals to her. Love is a place, and through this place of love, move with brightness and peace, all places. I close this message today with a sonic blessing. In a moment, I'm going to press play on a song by Beverly Glenn-Copeland called La Vita, Life. It's off an album called Primal Prayer. It's the album Glenn recorded in 2019 during that very wild time in his life. And it's the first song I ever heard by him. I discovered it by happenstance. It was sampled on one of my favorite dancey pop albums from last year, because you all know I only listen to dancey pop music. His voice grabbed and held my attention. I've listened to La Vida many times since, playing it for fellow ministers and loved ones, and of course, for the Divine Mother of the Universe, to whom I believe it is dedicated. There's an operatic verse repeated throughout the song in Italian. Translated, this verse reads, "For love, listen to the singer, he who sings that life is beautiful. Peace, peace, life is sweet. Thank you, from the heart. Thank you. La Vita." You are precious, beloveds. May you and all beings pay attention to life. May you and all beings enjoy your life. Let it be so. Amen. And will you once again rise in body and spirit and join in singing? This one's in our teal hymnal, 1010, We Give Thanks.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, for God away, for worship, and love and grace. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
And will you remain risen for our closing benediction? May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings experience profound joy and the causes of profound joy. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all know peace, and may we all get free. And will you join me in the words of our unison benediction written in your order? For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. For those who come to seek a path, may the way be found and the courage to take it step by step. Go in peace, my friends. The service begins when the service ends. Our choir will sing one more song to us on our way.